Did you know that no one's gut microbiome is exactly the same? Hi, I'm Bernice Hunt, and I am a brain health specialist. I work with women just like you who are starting to notice a few memory challenges, and I help you to stay sharp so that as you age, you can still travel, have fun with your grandkids, and experience new adventures without missing a beat. As a teacher of special ed students for over 20 years, I had to find different ways to teach the same thing because some of the students didn't always learn the same way. And later when I transferred into regular ed, I found that even there were students who didn't learn the same way. And if I wanted everyone to learn, I had to find the way that they learned information. So did you catch my last video? A few days ago, I did a short little video on the gut and the bacteria that's all about in there. And so if you didn't catch that, go to my Facebook page or my YouTube channel. It's still on there and find out what the gut is all about. But today it's on Keep Your Brain Sharp. That's where you'll find it at Keep Your Brain Sharp. And today I wanted to talk specifically about what your gut microbiome is, what they need, and how you can best take care of your gut microbiome. Everybody's got one. Everybody's got a gut microbiome, but no one's is the same. They respond to different foods differently. They respond to different circumstances differently. And studies show that some microbiomes actually speed up the progression of Alzheimer's. That's not a good thing, y'all. So we need to do something about that. So first of all, what is a microbiome? We're talking about a living community of microbes, better known as bugs. Okay, so we're talking about a mixture of bacteria and viruses and fungi and other kind of things that are inside your body, living in a certain organism or a certain space inside your body. Okay, so that's what we're talking about. And guess what? This microbiome has lots of things to do besides just digest your food. Now, the gut is not the only place where there's microbiomes in your body. There's microbiomes on your skin, in your eyes, in your mouth, in your nose, in your lungs, in lots of places, in your genital area, lots of places, guys. We have bugs living inside of us. Okay, so don't try to look for them because we said they're microorganisms. They're teeny tiny. So here's the facts, guys. You are primarily a water bag of teeny tiny bugs. No joke. So we just need to get past that, okay, so we can know what we're dealing with here, okay? That's your body, okay? Not talking about your spirit, talking about your body. Now, these microorganisms, these bugs, are not freeloading, guys. They're not just laying around trying to eat up all the food every time it comes down to them. That's not what they're doing. They are influencing our body. They are bringing something to the table. That's why God put them in us, because they have a job to do. And it's a symbiotic relationship that you scratch my back, I scratch your back. That's what's going on with that. So hopefully the things they're doing are good because that's why they're there. But sometimes that's not the case. So I'll talk a little bit about that as well. But they are here to do good. They come inside of you initially from your mother. When you go through the birth channel, when you're born, that's when you acquire your first set of microbes. And then also as your mom is breastfeeding you, you get more microorganisms coming in you. Then you continue to get them in the food that you eat, in the water that you drink, and all in your environment. I got to tell you the story about my sister Valerie. When we were little, I still remember this. My mom took her to the doctor because she was eating dirt. She was eating dirt. She was little guy, little kid, you know. She was eating dirt, and my mom, of course, was concerned. Took her to the doctor. The doctor said, leave her alone, let her eat it, because apparently there's something in the dirt that her body needs. Ooh. Okay, but now I know they're talking about minerals and things in the dirt too, but in that dirt were also thousands, millions of microorganisms that she was also eating. Now, she's not dead. She's, my older sister. So she's older than me. So she lived, had kids, grandkids, all this kind of stuff. So she did fine. But her body, apparently, according to the doctor, was craving something, and she found it in the dirt. And there you go. Okay. All right, so that's my little story about Val. Now, there are all kinds of species, hundreds and thousands of different bacteria species in this world and in us. And they get mixed up in all kinds of different combinations. If you had like 1,000 different species, and in your gut microbiome, you have about 100 trillion microorganisms. It's the most important microorganism in our body because one of the reasons is because there's so many in there. The gut microbiome has more bacteria in it than all the other microbiomes combined, because it's very, very important. There's a gut-brain connection. Your intestinal tract is the most important microbiome because it's part of that brain-gut connection and because of all the microorganisms in there. And they're doing a job, guys. Like I said, they're doing a job. Different species, different combinations, which explains why no two gut microbiomes are exactly alike. It's kind of like fingerprints. They're not the same. Can you imagine if you had 100 trillion in there and they had 1,000 different species and they have the proportions of the different ones? I mean, you could see how all the combinations could be there. You're not going to get two that are the same. They said not even twins. You have those microbiomes with your viruses and your bacteria and all that. You also have visitors that come into your intestinal tract, hopefully on a regular basis. We call those probiotics. They come from fermented food where there's live bacteria, live organisms living there. From the fermentation, they're living there, and you ingest them, you drink them, or you eat them, and their job is to get down to your large intestine where the majority of your microorganisms are in your digestive tract. So here's the challenge though. They got to get all the way down to the large intestine, and you digest a lot of the food that you eat, you digest it before it gets down to the large intestine. So you're looking for specific kinds of food that can make their way down there. You probably know what kind of food I'm talking about. I'm talking about fiber-rich food. The fiber, we can't digest the fiber ourselves, so it does pass through and also goes all the way through eventually, but it does go through and it gets to that large intestine, which is actually a good thing because guess what? That's what those microorganisms can deal with. That's what that bacteria likes. That's what it eats. So that's a good thing. So here's the thing that happens. It gets down to the large intestines and the bacteria there starts gnawing on the fiber. And in the process of gnawing on eating that fiber, it ferments the fiber. That's what it's doing, producing a byproduct that our body needs to survive. So that's that symbiotic relationship I'm talking about. You scratch my back, I scratch your back. You scratch my back, I scratch your back. So we need that in there so that it can, in the process of getting what it needs to eat, it gives us the byproducts that we need to function. So that is how that works, using that food. It's like having an internal factory inside of you that's working for food. So they're working for you. You don't have to pay them. Just give them some food, the right food, and they will produce things for you. So that's how that works. Now, the food that is the fiber-rich food that goes down there is called prebiotics. Prebiotics. So probiotics are actually the bacteria. The prebiotics is the food that the bacteria eat. So prebiotics, of course, is going to be fiber-rich food. And the good news is that there's a variety of them for you to choose to. So if you didn't like one kind, you can, eat some other kind. There's lots of things to choose from, but that's the kind of food that you have to eat. Because if you don't eat it, guess what's going to happen? Your bacteria are going to starve. And if they starve, they can't be working for you, can they? So you don't want them to starve. Also, there can be an imbalance in the good bacteria and the bad bacteria is there. And that throws everything off. And so then you start having some issues. So if you mistreat them, they end up mistreating you. So you got to be a good host to your microbes because you want them on your good side. You want to stay on their good side so they can be on your good side. Okay, so that's how that works. So our large intestines need prebiotics, the probiotics, and it also needs water to flush those things out. Because guess what? Probiotics, as I said, are visiting. They're passing through. They were not meant to reside and live there. And if they're there too long, they will start wearing out their welcome. And so they're supposed to pass through. And so the water flushes them out when it's time to go. And the water also helps flush out the bacteria that has died. When you do your business, you are flushing out thousands of living and dead microbacteria. So the probiotics there are there for a reason as well. They're passing through for a reason. They tune up your immune system. They help heal the things that is being disruptive in your digestive system or your intestinal system. They help heal those things too. And they also replenish or replace dead bacteria. So they're there and they have something to do, but they're not going to stay forever. They're going to pass through and leave. So that's one of the reasons why you have to eat or drink probiotics to replenish and replace that so that you'll have enough in there to do what they need to do. What is the best way to take care of your gut microbiome? Eat a variety of prebiotics. That's the food that they eat. You eat a variety because, like I said, there's thousands, there's trillions of bacteria, but there's thousands of different species. And guess what? They're just like your kids. They don't all like the same thing. They all have their favorites. They want this. I don't want that. I want that. They act the same way. And so if you're only eating cabbage or whatever, you're only eating broccoli or whatever, there's some species down there that don't like that. That's not what they want to eat. Okay, so you need to eat a variety. So if they get a big menu, they come down there and they got a little menu where they can look and see which ones who wants what, and they can eat what they want. So you need a variety of things, but there is a lot to choose from. Fiber rich. You want your bananas, you want your asparagus, you want your broccoli, you want, your Brussels sprouts, you want garlic, onions, all that kind of stuff, guys. Prebiotic foods is what you want to eat. So you want to eat a variety. So you make sure you're covering all the bases of all the different ones that are in there. And from at any given time, there can be a change in your microbiome. And so just because you had this many last week doesn't mean you're going to have that same proportion the next week, because medications, antibiotics, and your diet and weight changes, all those things affect your microbiome. And so you need to keep doing a variety because you're not sure exactly who's down there and you want to feed everybody. So you want to do that. The other thing is you want to eat or drink probiotics because we talked about how you need to replenish. All right. And they have a job to do. So if you don't have enough in there, the job's not getting done, guys. Your immune system's not getting tuned up the way it should because you haven't enough probiotics who specifically do those things. And so the probiotic that you get the most bang for your buck, they tell me, is kefir because it has tons of living cultures in there. And so the kefir is like a liquid yogurt. You can find it in the refrigerated section. You'll buy the yogurt, and that has a lot. You can put it in smoothies or you can just drink it or whatever you want to do with it. Most people think of, yogurt, sauerkraut, sourdough bread, all that kind of stuff as fermented, but any fermented food that says it has live cultures, so you need to look on the label and see if it's saying live cultures. And you also need to get it from a reputable source because some people make their homemade kombucha and all that kind of stuff, and that they might not be doing everything right and for sanitary reasons or whatever. You need a reliable source to get that stuff. All right, so you need your variety of prebiotics. You need your regular probiotics that you're taking on a regular basis. You also need to drink water. We talked about that, to flush out the dead bacteria and the probiotics that have worn out their welcome. They ain't got nothing else to do and they just hanging around. They need to go. Okay, so you need to flush all those things out as well. The other thing is you need to look for signs of imbalance. You get things happening and you may chalk it up to you're getting old or this just runs in the family, whatever that may be, that you have an imbalance in your gut microbiome that you need to correct. You look for things like bad breath, being in a bad mood all the time, fatigue, allergies, autoimmune disorders, migraines, problems with sleeping, stomach issues, or skin issues. All those things are signs or can be signs of your digestive system, of your gut bacteria, that there's an imbalance here that needs to be corrected. So those are some things that you can look for. Weight changes, unexplainable changes in your weight, either losing too much or gaining too much, whatever it is. Those are things that you can look for as you go about your living to see if you're having some problems. Okay, guys, so guess what? Next month, November, for all 31 days of November, my Partners Club is going to be taking a really good look at your gut. So we're going to be talking all about spending all of our time on gut, your gut microbiome. So this would be an excellent time to join our partners group if you're not already a partner. It's very affordable. I'm leaving the link for you. Click on there and find out more about it, because your brain's destiny is in your hands.